A bunch of words appear on the screen. I'm in a forest. A voice booms out. If you need a hint on something, try help. Tell me what to do?
So what am I supposed to do?
Mark asks, staring at the television like an impatient caveman.
You're in the woods and you can either go north, south, east, or west.
Terry explains, feeling around on the floor for his spit cup.
I want to fight. I don't play no game to just walk.
You can fight when something shows up to fight. Right now you have to walk. Now which way are you gonna walk?
I'll go east.
Alright. I'll type it in. The screen temporarily clears and a new set of words appears. Alright, you're in a sunny meadow now. I announce to Evil Mark, who seems very limited in his ability to read the screen. There's a sleeping dragon and a sign that says in some cases mud is good, in others.
What the expletive is that supposed to mean?
Evil Mark squints sideways at the television. I don't know. I'm just reading it to you.
I'm gonna kill the dragon.
You're gonna kill it with what? You don't have any weapons.
Terry chides.
I'll kick him in the expletive head. Terry the Fairy. That's your name. Terry the Fairy.
Terry frowns menacingly while Evil Mark only laughs. Alright. I announce, trying to ignore the pending conflict between stepbrothers. I'll just type kill dragon and let the computer figure it all out. Kill dragon. It doesn't bother him at all. Maybe if I threw something?
What do I have to throw?
Evil Mark coughs. Nothing really. You'll have to find something and come back here, I guess.
Dumb piece of expletive.
Evil Mark scoots his chair back from the television and stands up.
Screw this game. I'm going outside to smoke. You girls have fun.
Terry seems genuinely relieved as he listens to Evil Mark exiting the back door and clomping around beneath the porch in his oversized boots. After hearing him cuss out a bird and threaten to set it on fire with a cigarette lighter, we continue the game in a more orderly fashion. We chop down a cypress tree in the middle of a swamp and enter the spooky hollow stump it left behind. Terry and I proceed into a series of dark caverns where we are eventually killed by a bear. The bear clawed Terry so hard that all of his bones fell out onto the cave floor. Through repeated efforts to complete the game, Mr. Bear remains an unstoppable obstacle and eventually we just have to give up trying. Walking outside to stretch and breathe some new air, we discover a spot where Evil Mark smoked several cigarettes and left the butts in a nasty pile on the concrete of the carport. Sometime during the last hour or so he apparently got bored and jumped on his bike, heading for parts unknown. Neither of us heard him leave, nor are either of us particularly sad to see him go. We go back inside and play Atari for a while. We then decide that it is warm enough and sunny enough to take our planned bike journey. The sun is indeed bright and warm, but the wind is strong and cold. It seems that the sun and air are competing for the right to determine the true temperature. At the moment, the sun has a slight edge. In fact, it feels good enough that I have decided not to wear a coat. I also have my sleeves rolled up. Terry, meanwhile, has both a coat and a hat. That's because Terry is a weakling. It's taking me some time to get used to the fact that my chain is not about to snap or fall off at any moment. I have grown to expect that after my long experience with the hybrid. Since I have actual brakes, I also no longer have to ruin my shoes in order to drag myself to a stop, kicking up a noisy spray of gravel and dust as I do so. Did I mention that I flew over the handlebars more than once trying to come to a sudden stop like that? Explain to me again why I am not dead? p.m. Well, we've ridden about 3 miles now. We took the long trek into the industrial area with empty roads surrounded by leaf-bare trees. I'm beginning to realize that I've made a fairly big mistake by not wearing a coat. The temperature has dropped noticeably and the wind is whipping at me, slapping my hair, and chilling me off more and more each moment. The road is quiet except for the rough sound of the tires and the constant, thunderous gusts of wind. Each turn of the tires is an ordeal. My ears hurt. My hands are painfully cold. I try to ease one hand into my pocket, but that makes riding considerably more difficult. I would pay you or anybody else $12 if you can get me a glove right now. Left or right glove, it doesn't matter. I'll just turn it inside out and switch them back and forth between hands. I will pay you $750 for a coat. We're passing a church right now. People are gathered around the parking lot in the orange evening sunlight. It's getting late. Worst news for me is that we are now lost. We're far from home, with little or no hope of ever making it back alive.
Then a dog woke inside her head to watch the explosion, and a pipe started leaking, and she bent to the basin. Fruit juice everywhere, not one drop to fill me. Fill me. Whoa, fill me.
4:54 p.m. We've gone quite a distance now and we're still lost. We actually managed to go in a very big circle at one point because I recognized the same church that we passed about a half hour ago. The cold air is making my lungs hurt. I'm definitely overworking myself. It feels like I'm riding uphill for the entire trip. My legs are cramping and my lips are cracked and falling apart. My arms and hands are bluish white. 5:39 p.m. We've reached some familiar territory at long last, but we've still got a long way to go. The cars passing us have their headlights on and the sky has turned a dusty blue. We stop at a gas station near the fairgrounds that has an outside payphone. I'm gonna call home to say that I am struggling to make it back. Unfortunately, my hands are so frozen that I can't hold my quarter well enough to put it in the phone slot. It takes a lot of effort, but I finally managed to make the call. My mom thinks I'm an idiot. 5:47 p.m. We are riding along on the narrow dirt path on the side of busy Delarway Road. Each time a car passes by it creates a cold breeze that tussles my shirt and sends a fresh wave of numbness through my already senseless form. I wish it was summer again. Terry, wrapped comfortably within a black coat and topped off with his black wool serial killer cap, has had no trouble finding cruel humor in my predicament. He stops for a minute, getting a fresh dip of skull from his back pocket. I continue pedaling against the wind, finding myself making slower and more difficult progress as I go. I stand up on the bike to gain more leverage. For some reason I begin chanting, "Animal, animal, animal." That's a reference to the Muppet named Animal, the wildly retarded drummer for the Electric Mayhem.
Animal!
Onward we trudge, easing our way past the Pines Drive-In and Magic Market. Oh man! Make it stop already. Just stop the wind. My face is cracking open. The sun is low in the west, glaring directly into my eyes now. With no cars coming for quite a distance, I cruise out into the road and enjoy the smooth pavement vibrating beneath my tires. My joy is short-lived when a Buick turns off from a side street and I'm forced back onto the rough dirt path once again. The time comes when, at last, I arrive back home. I walk stiffly through the front door, my body craving heat. I hurt all over. My mom is flabbergasted that I would be dumb enough to go out in the cold wind without a coat in the first place. I'm kind of surprised about that myself. I feel sick. My nose is running and there is the smallest hint of fever warming my blood. I don't bother changing clothes. I simply dive into bed and wrap myself as tightly as I can in the blankets. I listen to the sounds of Ripley's Believe It or Not coming from the television.
A beautiful group of islands in the Pacific was named after Montague, but then the name was changed. We know them now as the Hawaiian Islands. Nevertheless, not a single day goes by without millions of people invoking our hero's name.
I may be on the verge of becoming extremely ill and I may not be able to survive the sort of cold I think I've caught. I think I may have done myself some real harm. But maybe not. I may just be really cold. Either way, I'll probably be staying home from school tomorrow.